Welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I am Hamza Idris, your host. The PDP and APC in Gombe State have been trading words and accusations at each other ahead of the 2023 governorship election in the state. Both political parties have accused each other of sabotage. Most recently, the campaign office of Muhammad Jibril Barde, gubernatorial candidate of the PDP in the state, was allegedly set on fire by suspected political thugs. The office was burned down in the early hours of Monday, December 12. Mr. Ayuba Aluke, the spokesperson for the PDP campaign organization, blamed the attack on political thugs belonging to the ruling APC in the state. He later called on supporters of the party to maintain peace and promised that the party will take legal action against the attack. However, officials in the governor's office denied the PDP's claim and accused them of seeking cheap publicity. We are now joined in the studio by Shuaibu Garagombe. He is the Special Advisor on Information Management and Strategy to the Gombe State Governor. We are also joined virtually by the spokesperson for the PDP campaign in the state, Ayuba Aluke, to discuss more on this and many other issues. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, maybe I should start with Aluke. How are you? Yes, can you tell us what really happened on December 12th at your campaign office?
I didn't believe it. Most people that had the news that misled early morning hours of Monday didn't believe it. I was forced at that point in time to take a drive from my residence to the office to confirm for what is going on there. And on arrival, I found that the office was ablaze and it was burning. So it is not an allegation that the PDP office has been set ablaze. We have some of the videos in the social media. So truly, the office was set ablaze. And as you are the current government that has been instigating violence, especially political thuggery, across orchestrated the attack on the PDP campaign committee office. Let me give you a 100-meter It is on the main drive that leads to the government house, where ordinarily you would expect that there is very stiff security there, even without the presence of the campaign office of the PDP. But to a shock.
Okay. Let me just stop here briefly and then come back to the studio. You have heard partly what the spokesperson of PDP said, that it was actually carried out, that is the setting ablaze of their campaign office, by your talks. Do you have talks? Let me start from
Thank you so much. Well, what do you expect them to say? In the first place, when you look at the pictures as they were taken,
yes,
they were taken at night and as posted on social media. When you see the pictures, of course, at night, the flames will be more visible.
Yeah.
And very exaggerating. But the claim is building, campaign office building was set ablaze. There was nothing like setting any building ablaze. It was not a building. What was on fire were the billboards that were just by the entrance of the campaign office. If you take the reverse angle of
the photos,
you will not see any building. You cannot come and claim that your house is on fire when it is only a signpost that is in front of the house that was on fire. So let us get it very clear. There was no building that was set in place. When I was contacted by the media initially to react on it, I said I will not talk on it until I speak to the Commissioner of Police and the security agencies. And I called the Commissioner of Police to ask him what really happened. The position of the police is that there were 4 policemen on duty and 5 vigilantes guarding the same premises. Where were they as at the time the thugs went there? That is number 1 point. Number 2, the PDP in the state are on a mission of self-destruct.
Okay.
They are on a mission of self-destruct. They are destroying themselves.
How?
The issue is internal. How they did it is their problem. It has nothing to do with the APC.
Are you saying that it's not actually political rivalry, I mean inter-party rivalry that led to the assault?
It's an intra-party problem. It's within the party. It's an internal issue within themselves. And they went to set the billboards on fire, and now they come to accuse, naturally, to accuse the APC or to accuse the government of sponsoring talks to go. If the government wants to sponsor talks to go and destroy PDP campaign structures, it's not billboards that the government will send to destroy. And besides, our governor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Gombe State, he has no history of violence in politics. It's never his style of politics. Never. It's never his style of politics. So if they cannot settle their own internal differences as a party, and within themselves, like someone was saying, claiming that those thugs who went to set those billboards on fire were sending signals, because right from the time that they flag up their campaign in Duku local governments, they were not paid a single penny for participation in that. So out of
for the normal mobilization.
Exactly. Out of anger, they went to do that. Up to now, they cannot point. You can just to claim he who alleges has a burden of proof. Now, the police have investigated, and I said to you the position of the police right now. Where were those on duty that thugs will go and set the billboards or banners in place? I will give you another example to tell you how tolerant our governor is, and even the party.
Yes, well, before we get to the tolerance of the, of the governor, was there any outcome of report from the police? Because this is not the first time. I think around February, another campaign office of PDP was allegedly set ablaze by the same so-called thugs belonging to the ruling government.
Why should they all the time become claiming that it is APC talks or is government talks that were sent them to? So what you are saying is that if a woman gets a miscarriage in the hospital, you call APC or you call the governor. No, it's not everything that they just put it. It is their own internal problem. If not by now, they should be able to apprehend or arrest somebody or pinpoint at one person from APC that went to set up. Look, we are not in competition with PDP in Gombe State. So we don't even have anything to show, or we do not have anything to suggest that all these things were sponsored by talks sent by the government.
Okay, Ayuba, you have heard what Mr. Garagombe said here, that it was actually internal wrangling that led to the siege, I mean the arson on the campaign office of your party, not the ruling party. What do you have to say on this?
No, that is obviously not true. These are just mere insinuations. And I can understand with him, it's only natural that he's trying to defend his party and probably his principle. I can show you some pointers
behavior of the current APC government in the state. If you have checked on the social media or you have been monitoring political activities in Gombe State, you will notice there are about 5 or 6 videos of very terrible statements made by His Excellency, the current governor, inciting people to violence. In Deba, during one of his visits and campaign rallies, he told the youth that Idang, and he said it in Hausa. I don't know how to say it in English without removing
no,
the
say it in Hausa. It's okay. We will translate.
Yes, he said it in Hausa. Idang an taɓa kayanku kurama in an ce muku me kuce cas.
That people should go on vengeance once they are provoked, right?
Yes, that is a very provoking and inciting statement that he made as a sitting governor. And now, not only that, immediately after the presidential visit by Atiku to Gombe State, you recall that also some PDP supporters and stalwarts were attacked. Their vehicles were destroyed, their glasses were smashed. And even before these incidents of the touching of the campaign office paraphernalia, earlier on you remember that the state government has officially, using a government agency, bulldozed and brought down the MBD campaign office or the PDP management campaign committee office twice, under the false pretense that the approval that was given for the establishment of the office was for a temporary structure and that the PDP built a permanent structure, simply because the office is strategically located and it has become an eyesore and a pain in the heart of the APC in the state.
Okay, now, let me stop you here. Let me stop you here. Ayuba, I saw that Gara Gombe will respond to these 2 allegations. The first one, the provocative statement.
Just before that, I quickly want to point out right on the point that it is after all this that has been done that the PDP now erected what you could call a temporary structure in compliance with court order and other things that are going on behind the scene. And even that is not enough. It was so much pain to them that they have to set it ablaze to burn it. Because the plan that is being orchestrated by the APC in Gombe is to intimidate everybody out of the political space or out of the political arena and to cause violence in places of concentration.
All right, thank you. You have heard what he said.
Well, first and foremost, let me say that pronouncements are not actions.
Okay.
Pronouncements are not actions. It's not all political pronouncements that are actions. Now,
yes, I got you. Well, I got you. Gara Gombe has started responding, and I will come back to you in a moment. Yes.
Yes.
Hear him. Yes.
So, pronouncements are not actions. If there is any pronouncement that has the capacity to breed violence, were pronouncements made by Dambarde himself, even against his own party members, party stakeholders.
But has the governor actually made the statements he alleged here?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If the governor made a statement, that doesn't mean that it's an action.
Okay.
And this is part of the game.
Okay.
This is part of the game. If you, what do you expect him to say? So it doesn't mean...
Was he responding to maybe a similar provocation by
Of course. I mean, it's no longer news. The kind of nature of the candidate of the PDP, who is so vocally acidic, mentally disrespectful.
How?
The kind of comments he makes in everywhere he goes, even the ones that are in a viral video, including insult to his party members, people that he's supposed to respect, people that are old enough to be their parents. I do not want to repeat some of these things that he said. Okay. So there is nobody whose statements has capacity and capability to incite violence like Rambarde. Imagine somebody who wants to rule the people of Gombe State, calling others that they are strangers. This is even against the Electoral Act. This is even something that is supposed to be reprimanded or even taken to tax by institutions of governance. Coming to say that strangers have taken over the state, that they once ruling the state. Which statement has capacity to breed violence, to incite people, more than you coming to tell some people who had been living together for years and centuries, suddenly because you want to be a governor of the state, then you are calling them that they are strangers. He insulted almost everyone in PDP. He has castigated them. He has called them unprintable names that are not airworthy.
Well, that's why they have the internal problems.
Of course, that's what I'm telling you. It's everything in PDP. Everything in PDP in Gombe State is an internal thing. In fact, they made our job easier. We don't need to even, in fact, it's just because it's a convention. We don't even need to campaign. They have destroyed themselves. The candidate has destroyed the party. He has destroyed also himself. So why do we even need to have that bother ourselves? If we want to, let me tell you, if we want to really be violent, not against the PDP in Gombe State, because there's nothing to be violent about. The issue he's talking about the day that Atiku visited Gombe.
Yes.
2 days after was when the president visited Kolmani oil
Yeah.
We were going to the airport to receive some of the dignitaries who chose to land in Gombe before going to Kolmani. At the entrance of the airport, almost every single billboard that has APC has been destroyed.
By who?
Who God knows? You see, we didn't put accusing fingers. We didn't say they are, but because they use the same airport, we didn't say they are the ones that did it. But we know that we cannot come and destroy it ourselves. So they destroyed every other thing. In fact, I was even there when the chairman of Akko local government was calling his people to come and replace those billboards that were brought down. So we will ask, if we don't have evidence, we will say who did it. But the moment something happens to them, the next thing they want to point is APC or the governor. They don't want to look at the actions, the utterances of their own party and how the party is being deserted in droves and the commitments, the promises they made to their members that they have not fulfilled it.
Okay, Ayuba, you have heard what he said, that is actually you people are into self-destruction. And he cited some instances. What do you have to say on this? Hello? Okay, before we get him back, he made another allegation that you are actually intimidated or treated by the closeness of their campaign office to government facilities, government house or government lodge, that you give them some stringent measures, that they just have to remove the structure and put temporary.
If you know the candidate of the PDP, Lamberde very well, that young man, if you know him, he's a lawless person. That is his nature. There is nowhere in the world. You know that the problems, our problem in this country, one of the major problems of Nigeria is lawlessness. And some of those who are aspiring to lead people or who are in position of authority are the ones who really promote this lawlessness. How can you go and apply for a land temporarily some years back and suddenly, because...
For what purpose? Did you find out why he...
It's supposed to be used by an NGO.
Okay.
And they are not the only ones. It's supposed to be used for an NGO, management, administration of an NGO there. Then suddenly, they took it up and surrounded it with the billboards and posters of PDP. Now, the authorities in charge in managing urban development, approvals for outdoor advertisements and all that, caution them about it. And there are documents to show that they were given that place for temporary reason. There was no approval superseding the status of that place to be used for temporary purpose or convert it to another use. And the rules and the laws are very clear.
Okay.
So they now change it without getting the necessary approval. Of course, the authorities have to come, and they have been told several times, come and regularize it. And the arrogance, as usual, and the lawlessness of the person who is leading will not allow them to do it. So what do you expect the government agency to do?
I think we have him now. Ayuba, if you are with us, the question I ask is actually for him to respond to some of the allegations that your facility there is actually a threat of sorts to them, right? But Gara said the allocation, I mean, the allocation given to Barde, the approval many years ago was for a different purpose. Why using it for political activities? And that was why And there were several warnings. This is what he said. Are you aware of this, that it was not meant to be a campaign office, considering the strategic location and then the original offer of sort to him?
How could he say that it was not meant to be a campaign office? If a person has a property and he wishes to put it to use, and in Nigeria there is a democracy and people are free to exercise their citizenship rights and everything within the ambit of the law, how can he say that that the office was not properly? Okay, if that were the case, after the demolition, the case was in court. Actually, that is why I don't want to really delve into it and speak at length on the issue. So I will leave that as it is. But let me give you another example, another pointer that you will know that it is indeed the state government under the influence of the APC that is doing what it is doing. Like I said, check out the distance between the seat of the government, that is the government house, the presidential lot, and other sensitive government facilities around that area. And the last attack, when the office was bulldozed, the last time the office was bulldozed by a government agency, you recall that two reporters, I'll call their name, one Atabo, a photojournalist, and one Chika Udenko, a correspondent of AIT.
Yeah, it's like we lost him.
Chika said he was attacked, or the other Atabo said he was attacked?
You are aware of the incident?
There was nothing like that. It's just their own imagination. I always tell you that a drowning person or a drowning party can claim anything, and they can say anything. There was nothing like that. You saw the visuals as it's been shown.
Seen them.
So that is what I'm saying. Always when they know that they are losing.
Yeah.
Okay, now at the end of the day, when they lose the elections, would they say it's because their office, as they claim, was burned down, or because of what? There is nobody that will wait and see or fold his hands or arms and see someone who goes to take a place or a property from government to use it as a residence. Then suddenly the government will come and see you using it as a shopping mall without applying for the necessary procedure for conversion and for all that. And because they think that they can do anything because they are dealing with political party and they can blackmail institution of government. No, in Gombe State, we try as much as possible, His Excellency try as much as possible to build strong institutions for everybody, and that's why encouraging them, everybody to do his job. Okay. So if they go and find out that that place to be used as a political party office is prejudicial to the safety and security that usually goes with citing a presidential lodge.
Yeah.
Of course, nobody is going to. Do you expect now Mr. President to go there, or any senior public officials in this country to go to Gombe and resides at the presidential lodge? Then next door, you see an opposition party beating drums, meeting, shouting, and all that next to it. Nobody is going to allow that. Nobody. So they cannot come and blackmail or hoodwink anybody in the name of politics to say that that place was meant for PDP, or rather for presidential campaign office, or for political campaign office, and suddenly they were asked to leave or the place was destroyed because they refused to
follow the due process.
Was
there any similar attempt to dislodge them from any other facility inside Gombe?
There was none. That is a peculiarity of this one. That is why we said, if you have any other place, you can go, but not here. This is the proximity to the presidential lodge is too close to allow you to stay there. And you know, political activities, when they start or when they begin, the noise is so loud, especially when the campaigns now are on as it is now. So we cannot allow it. We have to ourselves to blame if anything happen. The proximity is too close.
Okay, Ayuba, we are really having problems with connectivity from your end.
Yes.
Yes. So what are your final thoughts on this? You will continue listening to the court before you take another action, or you are planning to do something different in respect to that office and political tolerance in Gombe?
Yes, before I even get to that, let me also put something across clear for the records. Okay, let's assume all other things that we have said are mere political accusations and counter-accusations, as my friend and my brother, Alhaji Ahmed Shaibugara, is trying to put it across. Now, who is responsible for the protection of lives and properties of citizens? Who is responsible for keeping law and order? Who is responsible for securing the properties of citizens? It is the state government. And in this case, it is the APC state government that is responsible for that. So for the simple fact that our office was attacked right under their noses and they couldn't do anything about it, shows that the APC has failed as a government. It is either it is done in connivance with them, or they simply decided to look the other way because it serves their purpose very well, or like we have always claimed and we have always said, they're trying to intimidate the PDP out of the political space. Please, anytime you are in Gombe, or send your correspondents to check around the state capital. We have also made a law that bills should not be posted on government properties or anywhere close to government institutions and everything. But all across the state and the state capital and all the level local governments, you have the bills and posters and flyers of the APC flying all over the place. They've pasted it on government properties, particularly Central Primary School here in Gombe. But you will hardly see anything belonging to the PDP. Once we put anything that is PDP, they will attack it, they will tear it down, they will pull it down, they will threaten whoever has the material or an office or building across that place. So how can you say it is not the APC or the state government that is doing that? In fact, let me tell you, even his presence, they brought in my friend Ahmed Shaibugara as a media consultant to come and help them clean up the mess.
All right, maybe you should respond briefly on this allegation.
Say this.
Almost all government facilities have insignia of, campaigns of the ruling party, but you don't allow opposition to breathe.
Oh, do you expect us to allow them to go and put billboard inside government house? Is that normal? It's not normal. Let them wait. When they win the election, then they can stop us from putting the billboard. But we cannot allow them to put a billboard inside government house or any government facility. House. That's number one. Let me respond to what he's saying about the constitutional responsibility of the government. Okay. Is the constitutional responsibility of the government to protect lives and property of citizens. When people want to attack, when arsonists want to attack, they don't give notice.
Yeah.
Besides, that very place they are talking about, have they applied to the police for protection of that property?
But you mentioned that
do they have security?
Said there are some...
No. What I'm saying, no, this is a different place now.
Okay, fine.
We have already treated that one.
Yes.
I am just talking about this particular place that next to the government house, next to the presidential lodge. If you have a property, you have the right as a citizen to apply to police to look at the vulnerability, whether that building has capacity to be vulnerable to whatever. The police will give you protection and they put there. Then also, you should have your own internal security to guard that very place.
Yeah.
Was it that the police that were there were chased out by the arsonists or the officials who came to destroy the place, or the guards? You report. So protection of property does not come, yes, it doesn't come in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You have to inform the police.
Yeah.
Like the other one, like I said, police were there and vigilante were there. The vigilante were by PDP vigilante. Even if the arsonists came, where was the police and where was the vigilante?
Okay, thank you very much. I will stop you here
were because, there. So they should always try to, on their own, to apply to police to protect their property. And if there is a problem, then they should take the police to task, but not to start pointing accusing fingers to the ruling party.
Yes, Ayuba, I want to thank you very much for your input in the first segment of this program, and we hope to have you some other time. Thank you very much for joining us. Viewers, we will take a short break, and when we return, we move to other issues in relation to Gombe. Stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Yes, before we went on a break, we had Ayuba Luka. He's the spokesperson of Gombe PDP campaign. And in the studio, Shoaibu Gara Gombe, Special Advisor on Information Management and Strategy to the Gombe State Governor. Yes, we have had him. And he was talking about how tolerant is your governor. Let me start it this way, because it's like it's fire for fire.
Yes, you see, tolerance is a relative term, depending on the application of tolerance. In the first place, you don't see anybody destroying your property and you keep quiet. You don't see anyone insulting you and you keep quiet. Even though people used to misconstrue tolerance and patience.
Okay, they are two different.
They are two different things. Patience is different thing, tolerance is another thing. That's why I say this tolerance is a relative term. From what I know, His Excellency is not a violent person. Yes, from his utterances, they may sound strong and hard.
He speaks tough.
Tough, is reacting to issues. And a leader is supposed to use both carrot and stick. And that is his nature. He used carrot, he used stick. Sometimes when you see him jubilating, when you see him laughing, even now in campaigns, when the villagers see him say, oh, this is the same governor, or whatever. That is his nature. So, he has served under Governor Danjuma Goje for 7.5 years.
As commissioner.
As commissioner. And that very government he served under has been one of the most intolerant government in history of Gombe State, quote unquote. But you will never associate him with any of the actions of that very government that he has
But why did he remain in the government? Even though I don't want us to digress.
Yes, no. Of course, yes,
non-tolerant.
Yes, he cannot say he wants to leave the government because of intolerance. It has a different, exactly. So he has served in that government, and he was even one of the most, as the Commissioner of Finance, very loyal and committed. He's been one of the most invisible people in that government. So that is his own history. So if you know him with that, then you don't associate him with violence. But when you come, now that he's in charge, and he has a duty to protect lives and property, and also to protect the citizens of Gombe State, he has exhibited more than any other person highest degree of tolerance, I can tell you.
How? Because
let me give you examples.
Yes,
let me.
I want to ask this question.
I want to give you an example.
Recent, you see governors seriously muzzling the opposition. Number one, by even denying them access to the media in the state. Number two, denying them access to government facilities like stadium to do their campaigns. Number three, supplanting some programs just to, checkmate the opposition, not to allow them to breathe. What is happening?
Yes, all these unusual tactics of denial of media access, stadium or facilities and rest of it only happen when there is a strong opposition. In Gombe State, there is no strong opposition. There's nothing. Let me tell you, there is nobody to deny the stadium in Gombe. There is nobody to deny access to the media because there is nothing. They made PDP in Gombe, they have made our job easier. There is nothing to do.
Do you allow them to take their jingles to Gombe Television, Gombe Radio, and other, including
of course, if
media?
they can pay. There is a particular radio station in Gombe that, let me tell you, the day they launched their campaign in Duku, they plug off their campaign in Duku. There's one particular radio station that I had personally monitored. For almost half of the day, they were only running the campaign of PDP. Ditto, they did the same thing to AMPP. So anybody you want to go and pay, let me tell you, in Gombe, I don't think there is anywhere with due sense of humility that you have the freedom where you can go and use any media to say what you want to say, like you have in Gombe State. Today, there is even a program in one of the stations that we are the ones paying for that program. But just in line with NBC's code for political programs and all that, we allow the production, the radio station, to bring opposition to come into the STEM program that we are paying for, to insult us, to abuse us, to castigate us, to say all sorts of things. And we are the ones paying just because they are balancing. We want to balance. So
we still have how else to verify
how else can we? No, the opposition is not only PDP, but I'm just telling you, as the leading opposition in the PDP, as far as we are concerned in Gombe State, there is nothing to oppose. Let me tell you something about their candidate. He was on television stations nationally and called the governor all sorts of names, even called the governor a thief on air. Now,
yeah, I remember because I have this question, and they even drag your candidate to court.
Yes, that is his style. Here is somebody who, at his age, got a national license. National license, so unlucky, of a bank, not regional, national license to run a bank. Less than 2 years after he got that national license, he abandoned it with depositors' money and went to Gombe. He wants to be governor. That to show you how incurably ambitious he is. And he has no plan. He has nothing to show.
The people
that is one. Two, Jim Obia, who started Zenith Bank today, got the same type of national license who was introduced to late Abdulkadir Ahmed, may his soul rest in peace, former CBN governor, by the Sankin Boy Gombe Alhaji Rima Abdullah when he was MD of AfriBank, and Jim Obia was given national license to start Zenith Bank. He was just 2 years older than the age of Dambarde. Look at Zenith Bank today. Does that tell you a normal human being at his age and just got a license to tell you how incurably and cancerous ambitious he is?
Anyway, we wanted to actually bring him here and, to talk, and
now
get him to respond to.
Yes, let him come anytime. I can face him for a debate if he wants. And let me tell you, he abandoned it, and it's just by sheer luck that that bank did not collapse. It continued. When he lost the elections or the primaries, he came back. He wants to come over the bank.
This was in 2019.
They denied him.
Yeah.
They denied him. The bank denied him. He went to London. Let him tell us why was he in London for almost 2 years.
Okay, we'll surely bring him here.
This is the person.
This area because he instituted a case against your principal. You know,
when we are even the ones we are even supposed to take him to court.
Well, he has taken
for calling our principal a thief on air.
Yes, and then he has taken him to court here in Abuja to disqualify him and his deputy, right, Jatau Daniel, because of some contentious issues in relation to their certificates. I don't want us to be prejudicial, but where is that case? And do you see that as a threat to your candidate?
Well, by his history, Mbare has that. He is a professional petition writer. That I can say, even against those people who nurtured him, those people who clothed him, those people who gave him shelter, those people who have taken so much responsibility
are they genuine?
And teach him how to talk. No, since the matter is sub judice, let the courts decide. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm telling you the character of the person who went to court.
Will it in any way affect your candidate?
You said what?
I said, will it in any way affect your candidate? These are the surface questions that people would like you to answer. Or
no, since it is going to be preemptive for me to say whether it will affect my candidate or not, since the matter is sub judice. Okay. But I'm just telling you that the type of person the PDP has, I just pity them. I even pity my brother Ayuba, who is being a spokesperson to such a character of the candidate. That is why the entire party has been abandoned. People leaving the party in hundreds of thousands.
Yes, of course.
Everybody
Jamilu
that
Gomna
is gone.
and others, they defected to your party, which you really celebrated. But have you really bemoaned the defection of 2 members of the State Assembly to NNPP? Because 2 members, serving members, why did they leave? Well, you see, defection... And don't you think that they carry more weight than the 5,000 that Jamilu came to your party with? These are
no. You see, to work, His Excellency has worked very well in a very cordial manner with the judiciary in Gombe State and with the legislative arm of government. Defection is part of politics, but sometimes when people defect, so you have to look at why are they defecting. If they are losing followership in their constituency, of course, they will try to find another party,
a sanctuary,
to move into. There is no one whose popularity is assured, who is strong in his constituency, that can defect or he is happy with what is going on in his constituency. So if they defect, so be it. But what I'm just saying is that it's part of the game. If they leave, 2 people leave, and you have thousands that are coming, then it's a plus, not a minus.
Why did they move out, even though it's not really important now since they have gone?
No,
but NNPP is more or less becoming the leading opposition now in Gombe.
No. I'm just telling you, all the NPP and the PDP, that one I told you before, and I want to repeat it. He is a player agent. Let him go and sell his footballers. He should leave politics alone.
You are also into
he can't go anywhere.
Football.
Yes, but I'm not contesting governorship. I have been telling you, Gombe State governorship is not for amateur people. It's not for toddlers. It's not for kindergarten politicians. Simply because you see people saying, Sekai, then the next thing you want to go and contest governorship. It's not as easy as they see. So they are just going to continue to waste their time and waste their own resources and for the purpose of popularity. Our governor has already planned his next term.
But what has
during
he done,
his first term.
What has he done to deserve another?
Oh my God, he has done so many. Let me give you one example that shook me. You know, I just joined the government not too long ago.
Yes.
One group from one of the zones in Gombe, from Gombe South, paid a courtesy call from Dadia. And with their elders, the youth, the women, and the other party, also the community, they call it Dadia Development Association. When they came, they told us clearly that they came to thank the government in Gombe, in Government House. They said they don't have PA, they don't have SA, they don't have a commissioner. If there is chance, they will need it, but that is not what they are asking for. They came to thank the governor that, first and foremost, under his program of 1,100, that's 100 kilometers per local government, the 11 local governments, they have got 64 kilometers of road. 2 government colleges were upgraded to technical colleges and renovated. More classrooms in the primary school level had been developed. Their primary health care had been renovated. And now the recruitment of teachers and the recruitment of the health workers has also benefited them. So that one is more than enough for them, but they are asking for more. This is just a pointer to show you that His Excellency has done so well during his first term, and that's why I said he has already prepared for the second term.
Whenever elections are approaching, you see all sorts of gimmicks. You know, people, maybe the chairman of the local government may mobilize people to go and say thank you.
No. This one I gave you this example. I always use this as an example because it's not the local government that came. This is the community. If he has not done well, they will not come. Because those kind of leaders, it's not just easy to manipulate them. They came. And again, in 117 campaign promises that he has made, he has achieved almost 76% of those
we'll ask you
campaign
questions
promises.
on that, but there is this thing that is agitating the minds of many people, the crisis around Iliri. You know, that, am I correct?
Yes.
That led to imposition of curfew for many months. Some are saying it has to even do with inclusion and all that.
No. It has nothing to do with inclusion. It's about the installation or the appointment of the new Mayor Obeleri.
Exactly.
That is what happened.
I'm aware of that.
Yes. You see, the procedure is simple. The kingmakers came up with names, as usual. You finish your screening, you now come up with names of 3 people. And when you come up with names of 3 people, you send it to the governor for him to choose. And the one that is on top of the 3 submitted by the kingmakers happens to be the present Mayor Obeleri, not Kaltungo.
Yeah.
And His Excellency, in his wisdom and his advisors, they now choose that one. And because that area somehow has dominance of Christians, then the next thing they said no, because the next person after that happens to be a Christian. So that very person is part and parcel of the royal dynasty. So they wanted a Christian to be appointed. And His Excellency made it clear, if the kingmakers brought the number 1 person as on the list.
The Christian, was he not deserving to become, so that if they have the dominant population, or the governor just followed?
No, but it's not about sentiment. It's about procedure.
Okay.
The process says kingmakers to bring 3 names.
Yeah. which is
by order of performance and order of the integrity, so many criteria that they followed. 1, 2, and 3. Just like an exam in a classroom.
Yes.
Number 1, number 2, number 3.
And he had the chance to even pick from the bottom or from
but
the top.
Yes, but because that's the procedure
yes.
in API, so they wanted him to alter the process and pick from the middle because the person is a Christian. That's what brought the violence. And quite unfortunate that many people were killed, many houses were destroyed, and you found majority of the Muslim community and their properties were destroyed, mosques were burned, and rest of it, and the violence and rest of it.
The curfew has been lifted last
yes,
week.
it has been lifted.
Is it an enduring peace or is political peace because election is approaching?
No. Peace has returned because there was no incident. The people have accepted the new monarch, and he has been carrying them along. He is doing what he's supposed to do. And even recently, the isolated case of some unusual people that came on reprisal attack into a village called Antawalam and Pobore. And His Excellency went to condole them because there some rustlers rustled some cows, and the security agencies went and vigilante went after them and recovered the cows. So they were not happy. So they came over at night for reprisal and killed some 1 or 2 people and burned some houses and burned some properties within the village, and they ran away. And that within the same area. That was the only unfortunate thing that happened. Isolated case, and it has nothing to do with the curfew. It has nothing to do with the traditional appointment of the traditional ruler that causes the curfew and rest of it. And His Excellency was there. He even directed the Commissioner of Police to set up a police station there immediately. And also he has provided immediately relief materials to them. And the people were happy. And from their comments, from the chairman of the local government, the community leaders of the villages that were affected, and even the mayor of Eliri was so encouraging. So they are back to normal. They were back in peace. And even there was a town hall meeting during this visit at the Maize Palace, where all the village heads, the districts under the Eliri Emirates were there, and a very fruitful discussion to sustain peace were there, and how to also enhance security through community efforts and rest of it were all
But how enduring will this peace be? Because there have been this isolated, the way politicians always...
Yeah, that is why...
Because when you, I think on 18 December, there was an incident, shooting, in Bajude town of Kwame local government during campaign of your...
Yes, no, you see, accidents happens anywhere. That is part of human life. What happened in Kwame is unfortunate. It was a DSS staff whose rifle, or rather firearm, fell down. And as soon as it fell down, then automatically it fires accidental discharge. It happens. And I'm sure that the DSS are professionals. They are well trained in firearms handling. It is not that a direct shooting, like some people were insinuating that they were against the governor, they were shouting and chanting all sorts of things. That is the highest level of carelessness that any security personnel could have done. Yeah. There was nothing like that. It's just the opposition that were saying that it would hype direct shooting. How many, if at all, he was shooting because people are chanting slogans, anti-government slogans. If he used to shoot, how many people will he kill? It was just an isolated case, and immediately governor ordered for the arrest of that personnel. He was arrested, he was disarmed, demobilized, and taken to custody, and the DSS are investigating, and the victim has been taken to the hospital, in Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe, and automatically His Excellency tried to ask about his status, that is just an unemployed person, and he immediately appointed him as one of his PAs. Wow. So from the hospital bed, inshallah, he will become part of us as a PA. So it is just an isolated case. It's an accident, and we have been saying it. We are sorry for it. His Excellency had apologized to the community, and the community has accepted the apology. They thank him for the efforts he has made and rest of it. And His Excellency made it clear that one of his jobs is to protect people. And if anybody that is coming with him in any campaign or any assignment, by accident, such a thing happened, that he has a duty to intervene, and he has done that.
Thank you very much.
Very well.
We have no option but to stop here.
Yes, sorry, please, if you permit me, there's something I wanted to say quickly, which is very relevant to our principal. Yes, as a second. Recently, Mr. President accused governors of utilizing...
Yes, I have that question, and I will definitely bring you.
Yes.
You're not part of it?
No, about the local governments. You know, our local governments was just dissolved yesterday. All the caretaker committees chairmen were dissolved. Okay. I wanted to say, in Gombe State, we are not part... It's very unfair for Mr. President to generalize. In Gombe State, we are not like that. All our local governments are on credit. Before we came, they have to borrow about 1.3 billion to pay salaries. Now they don't borrow. They are all on credit. They pay their workers' salaries. And
Thank you very much.
So
honestly,
we are not part of that.
I have that question, but for time. But next time, I'm sure I will give you more opportunity to speak on that. Shaibu Garo Gombe, Special Advisor, Information Management and Strategy to Gombe State Governor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, that's a wrap on today's program. Thank you very much for watching, and join us again. I am Hamza Idris.